Ole Miss has not won at Auburn since 2003. Chad Kelly and company trying to make sure that remains the case. Actually, totally changes because they hadn't done it. So let's go. Sean White, 5th career start for Sean White, but he found some trouble. Land Sharks, remember last week against A&M how good they were? Sacked by Marquise Haynes. Next Auburn possession after an Ole Miss field goal. White, but all day, maybe 2 days.
And he did that?
Throws into double coverage, though. Tony Bridges, the INT. And how do you celebrate Hugh Freeze? Okay, wait, that's a whip and the net. But what's a name? Auburn defense, though, look at this. Getting to Chad Kelly, guys. Casanova McKenzie brings them down.
Casanova McKenzie has been their best player all year, but this was set up by Carl Lawson. He's getting double teamed. He gets double teamed. McKenzie comes in. That's what they miss when he hasn't been in there.
Impact there with Carl Lawson, no doubt. Second quarter early, 3-3 game. White to Ricardo Lewis. 5th career start for Sean White. First touchdown.
Saw that same play against Kentucky a couple weeks ago. Hit it for a long one there. That time, Ricardo Lewis trying to make up for last week's debacle.
At 4th and 2 now, middle of the second. Oh, throws it a little high for Marcus Davis and incomplete, so it's a turnover on downs. Ole Miss football, 4th and 2 on the ensuing drive. Kelly to Evan Ingram. What a target to have, and that's 4th and short situation. Big pickup. Couple of plays later. Watch the moves from Akeem Judd. Boom. Boom. You saw it.
They call it the stinky leg, Chris.
Judd gives you a little bit of inside the tackle action there.
We're going back to the whip and nay.
Yeah.
All kind of
highlight
dance references.
Yeah, all right. 3rd quarter. 4th and 1 now. Chad Kelly, the keeper, but Kelly is stopped. So, yes. How many calories does Will Muschamp burn in a football game? More than a lot of players, my hunch is. Now here's White. White throwing deep and complete to Melvin Ray for a big gain, but it ended up a field goal. Next Ole Miss possession now. Derek Jones down the side. Oh, Derek Jones, a little stutter step.
Hit him on a double move.
20-13. Ole Miss. 3rd and 10 Auburn now. White, how do they answer? Can they? Will they? Oh, look at the throw from White to Ricardo Lewis.
Ricardo Lewis had himself a day, Chris Dorn.
137.
4 catches. They were all big. And Jeremy Johnson. Little trickeration, Jeremy Johnson.
Little offensive pass interference.
Man, he threw it into triple coverage, too.
Stop, yeah. Tony Stevens, 1st and goal for Auburn. And then White. Ball is dropped by Rock Thomas.
He's done that a few times this year.
Another field goal. They just keep settling for 3, guys. It's a 1-point deficit now for Auburn. And here's Ole Miss. Chad Kelly up. Big play by Laquan Treadwell.
How effortless does Chad Kelly make it look?
How effortless does Laquan Treadwell make it look?
That play right there was one at the line of scrimmage, bump coverage, stack the defensive back and allow the quarterback to drop it in. That's uncoverable. When you have the cornerback in that position, you can't stop the book.
That was one on signing day when they signed him.
True.
7 catches, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Last chance for Auburn. Jeremy Johnson, he's got the big arm, and they need a Hail Mary at that point, but does not happen.
See him put the shades down to run to the middle of the field? I like that.
Showing how hip he is, man.
He was whipping, shades down.
Right. We did not see stanky leg. 27-19. Ole Miss does get the win again. Win out Rebels, and they will play for a conference championship. Still some roadblocks left to go, but all they can do is win one at a time, as Hugh Freeze's team did.
We're starting to play like we were earlier in the year, I think. They got a good football team. I don't care what records are. I know how good their players are, their coaching staff, and they made big plays on us today that really kept it closer than what I'd hoped. But man, I'm so proud of our kids and coaches. Come on the road and win a big one.
What can you say about your receiver, Laquan Treadwell? Just makes spectacular plays, but it's not just about catching the ball. It's all the other little things. What was your assessment of his performance today?
Outstanding. Probably didn't get it to him enough. We should have thrown a couple earlier to him. I thought we have some post-snap reads. I'll have to watch the film, get with Chad, and hopefully get those right next time.
We're disappointed. I mean, our guys fought their tail off against one of the better teams, in our league, and had chances to win, and we didn't. So we're going to have to reach deep down in, next week as players and coaches, and we will. I'll tell you what, because this team's going to fight. And, we're going to play hard, and we're going to get after it, and, hopefully we'll be a little healthier next week too.
So here it is. keep in mind why Ole Miss controls its own path to Atlanta if they win out, because they do host LSU. That is in 3 weeks. If LSU beats Alabama, LSU continues to control things on their end as well, because they'd have a chance to beat Ole Miss. For Alabama to win the West, they obviously have to beat LSU in a week and then have Ole Miss stumble somewhere along the way. That Rebel schedule, home against Arkansas, then they have a bye, home against LSU, and then at Mississippi State. So there are landmines there for the Rebels. But as we watch the Rebels the last couple of weeks, particularly on the defensive side, are you seeing a team that you think is capable of winning this West?
I'm impressed with their defense. I think the statistic that stands out to me today, 2 of 17 on 3rd and 4th downs combined right there. They were able to get that Auburn offense off the field. They harassed Sean White. Even though they threw for over 300 yards, I thought they made it difficult on him all day long. So really impressed with the progression of this Ole Miss defense. It was obviously nice to get Kimdichie back. How about getting Tony Connor back here soon, too? That should make him even more dangerous on that side.
And talk about this Ole Miss offense. The last 2 weeks combined, 90 carries of the football, over 380-something yards. Hugh Freeze finally said, you know what, we're going to make a commitment to being physical at the line of scrimmage. I'm not going to put it all on Chad Kelly. I know he's throwing the football great, and Laquan Treadwell is a great receiver, but I have to have a running game. 90 carries the last 2 weeks. I don't think it's any coincidence they've played their best offense the last couple of weeks.
And don't forget about Laramie Tunsil being back in the lineup. I think has allowed them to get people back into their natural positions on the offensive line and feel more comfortable running the football, too.
And your offensive lineman of the week goes to Mitch Smothers of Arkansas, while Marquise Haynes is the defensive lineman of the week from the Rebels.
Laquan Treadwell can finally look at Auburn and not have nightmarish flashbacks. A year after suffering a gruesome season-ending injury against the Tigers, Treadwell caught 7 passes for 114 yards and a touchdown against them Saturday. Smiles, not tears, or what we saw from number 1 this time against Auburn. But one certainly couldn't help and wonder what Laquan was thinking, was feeling as he took the field Saturday and looked at those guys wearing those Auburn helmets, the flashbacks, the memories. Did they hit him? Well, we'll likely never know. But we do know this. Treadwell is back. He's all the way back. What happened last November 1st truly is just a memory.
Treadwell in the slot now instead of out wide. Auburn's going to bring a blitz. Quick throw out to guess who? Treadwell.
Defender came. He bounced off me. I didn't feel it. The second guy didn't feel.
Laquan Treadwell breaks the tackle at the 50 and to the end zone. Touchdown.
We just won the game.
That was an ugly end to the play for Laquan Treadwell.
I felt it pop, and I was like, it can't be possible. The ball came out, and then I tried to get up and like put my foot down, and there was just no strength. And then that's when it all set in on me. I knew my leg was broke.
Surgery was scheduled immediately for Treadwell. His left fibula was broken and his ankle dislocated.
It's then that you've got to decide, is there something to me or I'm just made for the good times.
He's a guy who likes to do extra. He doesn't go home. And he's going to test that leg out because he likes to work so much.
What have the mental challenges been through this process?
Trying to stay positive, just battling every day with myself because I was so focused on, getting back healthy before the season.
He would send me his updated videos all the time. And then I happened to see one of him doing backflips on trampolines. So we had a very good conversation that day. So you must be pretty well, or either pretty stupid.
Ooh!
He's just, Coach, I'm just determined I'm back, and I want to have the confidence to do anything I can do physically, and that spoke to me.
Snap back to Kelly. Treadwell catches it. He's in the end zone!
8 games into the season, Treadwell has broken his career best for receiving yards and had a school record 14 receptions against Memphis.
He's faster. I believe he's stronger. He's smarter. He's a totally different player. He's a better player than before his injury. his tenacity and this rehab process that he had is definitely going to drive us to get through the tough times that's going to come with this season and to keep fighting through.
Treadwell now has gone 4 straight games with at least 100 receiving yards. That's tied for the second longest current streak in the country. He's 2 games shy of catching Amari Cooper's streak of 6 straight games. That's the longest streak in the SEC in the last decade.
So we talk about LSU's Leonard Fournette and Bama's Derrick Henry a lot, but allow Alex Collins to reintroduce himself. 5 touchdowns in a single game. Collins now has 11 TDs and is just 40 yards shy of the 1,000-yard mark on the season. So great performance on Saturday for Arkansas. Now Brett Bielema's focusing forward on Ole Miss.
This week, a tremendous challenge. Ole Miss is playing very, very well. We saw them last week against Auburn. I got to watch a little bit of it live before our game, but then to watch the game and have watched all of their games this year. Their quarterback is playing extremely well. When he's hot, they're hot. To get their tackle back, to get Tunsil back is obviously a guy that kind of shores up for them the physicality that they want to play with. Defensively, they're very, very efficient. Don't give up a lot of big plays. Play a lot of guys that make special plays, and you can tell they're a senior or a veteran football team, just the way they have handled the composure of the season. 7-2 to control their destiny for our league says something about who they are and what they are. But I think our guys will go into the challenge to go over there and play well. They're excited. They were pumped up yesterday. Today we'll give them a day off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we'll put our prep in and see where we can go. The wide receiver position, not just Treadwell. I mean, they got 3 or 4 guys that I think they, especially the quarterback, feels comfortable going to. There's no doubt in my mind he, one's an easy target. I mean, he looks really, really good and really big and really strong, but they dink it and dunk it around pretty much to everybody and try to hit some big play opportunities as well. So, and then you can't ignore the running game. I know statistically they're a little skewed to the passing game, but overall they can run the ball at times as well. So, and I tell you what, the quarterback, in my opinion, that's the difference between them this year than last year, is he runs the ball really pretty well. Not necessarily just designed runs either, but he escapes and makes plays happen with his feet. But they got different players, different quarterback, different personnel as well as we do. I think it's a classic SEC matchup, one that we hope that we match up well in, and we're going to want to play the way we want to play. They're going to want to play the way they want to play, and we'll see where it's at the end of 4 quarters. But I think our guys don't need any extra motivation when it comes to the SEC West and playing.
A classic SEC matchup, you say, Brett Bielema, and there's the tail of the tape. Maybe the surprise here, Arkansas has the upper hand in offensive efficiency over the Rebels. Ole Miss's offense was clicking on all cylinders against Auburn Saturday. Over 400 yards of total offense. Chad Kelly threw for over 300 yards for his 6th game of the season, and Laquan Treadwell had his 4th straight 100-yard receiving game. Ole Miss still leading the league in scoring offense. Now we welcome in Ole Miss's tight end, Evan Ingram. And Evan, you guys are coming off of a hard-fought win against Auburn. What did your team learn from that 27-19 victory?
We had a mindset going in there. It was going to be a hostile environment, a tough-fought game. Auburn's a great team. And we knew adversity was going to come our way, and it did. A lot of it, actually. But it's a great confidence boost with that W. Overcoming a lot of adversity, making a lot of great plays, defense swarming around, offense moving the ball well. It was a good step and a big win for us.
So for the first time in school history, Ole Miss, you guys secured a win in Tuscaloosa and in Auburn, making you the state champs of Alabama, essentially. Yeah. What did it mean to have both of those wins in one season for you? It's history. We made history. Just both of those teams being as successful as they've been. Just do a lot of winning in both of those programs, and for us to be able to go in that state in those hostile environments and come out with wins, it's a great achievement for our university. We know it was a huge game also for wide receiver Laquan Treadwell. The last time he played against Auburn, it was a season-ending injury, but he ended up getting his 4th straight 100-yard receiving game against the Tigers. What has it been like to watch him come back from injury, grow, and continue to excel all season long, Evan?
It's been amazing, but from the outside, everybody looking in, it's pretty amazing. But just knowing the type of person he is, the hard-working young man he is, it's normal. We've expected that from him for so long, and just him overcoming a lot of adversity with that injury and then the rehab and getting back to full strength. It's honestly been inspiring, really. Just the person he is, the leader he is for our team. It's a new normal for him, and it's good to see him back in true form.
Another new normal that we've seen over the season, your quarterback, Chad Kelly, he's had 6 games passing over 300 yards. How have you seen him grow and develop this season?
He's just become more comfortable. He came in and he put in so much work. He's a film junkie. He prepares so hard. He's become more of a leader of our team and our offense. And so just seeing him be able to get more comfortable and have more confidence in himself and in his ability, it's good. It's good for our team. It's good for our offense, and it's really good moving forward. So that's one thing that I try to hark on him a lot is in crazy games and hostile environments, just for him to relax, breathe, play his game, be comfortable, and to see him do that is very good for our team.
So you guys are coming off of back-to-back SEC West wins. What are you guys talking about in the locker room as you still have your hands and your reins on the SEC West race to kind of get over the hump and finish out the season strong?
We're taking it day by day. It's in this conference, and especially in our division, you can't overlook anybody. You can't overlook any week. So we just try to take it day by day, win each day, be the best students we could be film junkies, come in and take care of our bodies in treatment, have fun in practice, bring enthusiasm. We try to be perfect in every aspect of life, every aspect as a football player, and we have to hold each other accountable to that. We have so many good leaders on this team, so many smart guys, so many guys that are ready and willing to do whatever it takes to get to Atlanta. So we're taking it day by day here in Oxford, and we're gonna win each day, and then see what results we can get after a hard-fought 60 minutes on Saturday.
All right, Evan. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to watching you against Arkansas this weekend.
Thank you.
Hugh Freeze's Rebels stayed on track to their first SEC West championship with an 8-point win Saturday at Auburn. It was their first win at Auburn since 2003. Wins in their final 3 games, though that won't be easy, will put the Rebels in the SEC title game for the first time. Head coach Hugh Freeze meeting with the media on Monday.
I meet with a lot of our kids. I started doing that about 3 weeks ago, just every day meeting with a bunch of our players just to kind of judge where we are mentally and physically. And we've gone hard the last few weeks in practice, which was a concern, but we seem to have handled it pretty well. We have all the new gadgets in monitoring their output, and they have been exerting more on Tuesday and Wednesdays than what was the norm, but we seem to have handled it fairly well, and just felt like I needed to spend a lot of time with our team and in conversations, some about football, some not. Have great confidence, always have, and it's always been a joint deal, but I'm very involved still in this is the packages we're carrying. And then one of the things that was probably a disadvantage for Dan and Matt is, when we go to defense, I'm flipping over and involved in that, and that's when they're talking about the next series, and Matt's got an idea, Dan's got an idea, and then if I come back on and don't hear all those, that probably was putting them at a bit of a disadvantage coaching their kids, while I'm on the defensive channel. So they know the packages, they know what is that we like in those packages, and then they can kind of rank them. Hey, let's take a look at this. So that's what went into the decision, and it's been beneficial thus far.
Football Power Index still gives Ole Miss the best chance to win the West, thanks to its win over Alabama. Of course, the Rebs still do have LSU on their schedule. A win by LSU Saturday over Alabama could put them in the driver's seat. We'll see how FPI shakes out then. However, the Tide have the easiest strength of schedule remaining of those. It has become a regular scene and a sight this year on SEC Saturdays as Ole Miss's Laquan Treadwell making a great grab down the sidelines and cashing it in for 6. He did it again against Auburn this past week, hauling in the game's final score as the Rebels won 27-19. Anyone watching Laquan Treadwell play for the first time this year might be amazed to learn that it was just a year ago, this week in fact, that the horrific injury he suffered took him out for the season. The broken leg suffered in a game, incidentally, against Auburn. But the injury did not get him down. Instead, it got him to work even harder to get back, proving the old adage that sports don't just build character, sports reveals character. Here's Kaylee Hartung.
Treadwell in the slot now instead of out wide. Auburn's going to bring a blitz. Quick throw out to guess who? Treadwell.
Defender came. He bounced off me. I didn't feel it. The second guy didn't feel.
Laquan Treadwell breaks the tackle at the 50 and to the end zone. Touchdown.
We just won the game.
That was an ugly end to the play for Laquan Treadwell.
I felt it pop, and I was like, it can't be possible. The ball came out, and then I tried to get up and like put my foot down, and there was just no strength. And that's when it all set in on me. I knew my leg was broke.
Surgery was scheduled immediately for Treadwell. His left fibula was broken and his ankle dislocated.
It's then that you've got to decide, is there something to me or I'm just made for the good times.
He's a guy who likes to do extra. He doesn't go home. And he's going to test that leg out because he likes to work so much.
What have the mental challenges been through this process?
Trying to stay positive, just battling every day with myself. Because I was so focused on, getting back healthy before the season.
He would send me his updated videos all the time. And then I happened to see one of him doing backflips on trampolines. So we had a very good conversation that day. So you must be pretty well, or either pretty stupid.
Ooh!
He's just, Coach, I'm just determined I'm back, and I want to have the confidence to do anything I can do physically, and that spoke to me.
Snap back to Kelly. Treadwell catches it. He's in the end zone.
8 games into the season, Treadwell has broken his career best for receiving yards and had a school record 14 receptions against Memphis.
He's faster. I believe he's stronger. He's smarter. He's a totally different player. He's a better player than before his injury. His tenacity and this rehab process that he had is definitely going to drive us to get through the tough times that's going to come with this season and to keep fighting through.
Ole Miss still controls their fate in the SEC despite losses to Florida and Memphis this season. The Hogs, well, they're looking to get going. Alex Collins, 40 yards short of his third straight 1,000-yard season. And Ole Miss, of course, Chris, trying to play spoiler to a lot of teams. They could still make it to the SEC championship.
There's a 0.2% chance that they can actually win the conference,
So you're saying there's a chance, right?
Yeah.
All right, Chad Kelly and Ole Miss passing game has been great this season. Arkansas pass defense, not so much. Rebels lead the conference in pass yards per game, yards after catch, and completions are 20 more yards or more. The Razorbacks defense is last in the SEC in those 3 categories. Well, it's another matchup, Chris, when we think of teams that we thought might have breakthrough seasons. Ole Miss still has that opportunity, and even Arkansas is the tiniest of chances. But who's the biggest playmaker you cannot wait to watch?
Oh, Laquan Treadwell. Being a receiver, I love to watch receivers that play at the highest level. And he's a guy, the adversity he came back from, the broken leg last year,
amazing.
What he said about coming back being better, he's proven that. 4 straight games, over 100 yards with a touchdown. 5 of his last 6 have gone over 100. He's physical, catches the ball well. His route running's improved. I love this guy. I think he's going to have a great impact as the season goes through November.
He's fun to watch. I know a lot of scouts go ahead and watch him as well, too, hoping to play on Sundays. What's at stake here for the Hogs?
Well, I think the Hogs, other than their 0.2% chance to win the SEC, it's about what they can do to finish the season strong and to knock some of those other teams out. You look at who they play down the stretch. They have an opportunity to play against Ole Miss, against LSU, against Mississippi State as well. They have an opportunity to improve improve, go into the season with a good taste in their mouth, and knock some of these fellow SEC West teams out of the contention, both in the conference and in the national picture.
Ole Miss back up against the wall, right? They still have an opportunity to play in Atlanta for the SEC championship. When you know that, we saw it a little bit with Alabama when they were up against the wall. Does that make a team play that much harder?
I mean, I think you go out motivated every time, but I think the thing that I love about what Ole Miss has done here, they've improved their rushing game on offense, and a lot of that has to do with the commitment to run the football. Akeem Judd has been a nice compliment to Jalen Walton, and I also think Laramie Tunsil in the lineup has allowed that offensive line to stabilize and get guys back into their natural position.
Well, Peter, hotty toddy, gosh almighty, they can talk about the tussle in Tuscaloosa, but you know what's going to decide the SEC West? Whatever happens here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium down the stretch of November, as it's Ole Miss getting ready for Arkansas, and they control their own destiny to win the West.
We know it's our goal, and we know it's at stake. And we just got to make sure we take it one game at a time, make sure we handle our business no matter what conditions, no matter what's at stake. Just play your game, focus on what you can control.
We live and we play inside out. We worry about us. We prepare for us. We play hard for 60 minutes on every Saturday, and then when the game is over, we look up and we'll see what's on the scoreboard.
Controlling our own destiny, playing 1 week at a time. We can't really worry about anyone else. We got to worry about ourselves. You know, last year we was in the same situation.
They lost one of their very best players, and they're going to lose the football game.
It's a one-game season from here on out. One game at a time, one play at a time. Just make sure we take care of our business, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yes, they control their own fate, but look at what's left. Arkansas, LSU, the Egg Bowl, third toughest remaining schedule in the country, according to FPI. I know how you love FPI, Spears. 13% chance to win out, 4% chance that they lose out. And, of course, this is a rematch. Remember last year, Ole Miss was number 8. They were at Arkansas. It was a rainy day in Fayetteville, and the Arkansas defense forced the Rebels into 6 turnovers. Rohan Gaines took an interception, returned 100 yards all the way back for the score. They won 30-0. It was the third straight SEC loss for Ole Miss, just the 6th unranked team to beat a ranked team by at least 30 points. How tough of a matchup is it this year for the Rebels?
Well, let's just be honest. Anybody's going to lose with 6 turnovers.
Yeah, no
that's
doubt.
Kind of ridiculous and hope you're going to win. But let's not forget, Arkansas is a really good football team, and they're also getting better every single week. Brandon Allen is playing very well right now, and I think he is getting better, and I think he's making a statement to say he is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC.
Is this an overlooked matchup here? Is Arkansas very much alive to take care of business? Everybody knows it's Ole Miss controlling their fate.
No doubt. Arkansas is a good football team, and that offensive line, even though they had struggles in September, is playing their best football of late. And like you said, Tim, I couldn't agree with you more. Brandon Allen's done an amazing job, but we know it all starts and finishes with Alec Collins. At a 5-touchdown performance last week, he's going to have to continue to build on those games, game in and game out, because the loss and the injuries that have piled up at both wide receiver and at running back are only going to make his role a little bit bigger. He's one of the best running backs in the country, and he's in one of the best schemes in the country for a running back, but will he be able to do it against this vaunted Landshark defense?
Dang, he's got to build on 5 touchdowns? That's pretty hard to build on.
Carry that momentum.
Hey, listen, Ole Miss, he's got to get 6 against you.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the Landsharks look a little better than UT Martin.
Marcus, let's talk about Chad Kelly. Going down the field, passes of 15 yards or more, SEC best, 50% completion.
Absolutely, and I'm thinking about the elements, Joe. I'm thinking about that Ole Miss team that played against Texas A&M and ran the football for 250 yards. They have to have some type of mentality that they're going to try to be two-dimensional offensively, because you can't get into a game where you throw the ball 3 times and you have a 3 and out, because Arkansas usually eats up 6 to 7 minutes on each possession. So the style of play in which Arkansas plays with makes them a dangerous team when you get to November in the season, when guys are hurting, guys are tired, and they keep coming at you physically pounding. I think the way they play definitely leads up to this time of the year for you to see Arkansas peak because they play such a physical style of football.
Well, I think one thing that makes Ole Miss dangerous in a good way and a bad way is what happens with Chad Kelly. We watched him versus Texas A&M in the first half just come out and play lights out. Awesome. One of the best halves that I've seen a quarterback play this year in college football. And then he throws a tip ball that Myles Garrett picks. And after that, he played with a lot of, I don't know, just not confidence.
Yeah.
He played with fear. He was very timid. And you thought, hey, this is a quarterback that came out here and balled for the entire first half. And now the second half, it was like he was just trying to hold on. So how does Chad Kelly come out and play? Does he play with confidence? Does he play with fear? And if he comes out and plays with confidence, I think he's got a chance to be a dynamic.
No doubt. But one thing they have to do, they have to continue to play with tempo. Over the last 2 weeks, guys, they've snapped the ball on the offensive side of the football 183 times. That's the most in the country in the last 2 weeks. 92 plays last week against Auburn, 91 against Texas A&M. This offense operates better when they're playing with tempo. Expect them to continue to do that because, look, this is an offense and a group at Arkansas that can really chew up clock. So they're going to try to get as many plays as possible because part of their explosion is the tired defense that they're going to be playing against in the fourth quarter.
Limit that offense of Ole Miss. An Ole Miss offense with Chad Kelly is leading the SEC in passing yards and passing touchdowns. We'll have much more getting you set for this game on SEC Nation from right here. Speaking of quarterback play, there is the Manning room. You know, it's been since 2003, and Eli Manning, since an Ole Miss player led the SEC in passing yards and passing touchdowns at the end of a season.
Joe, they couldn't give me a speed limit. It'd be 96.
That's right.
Matchup. That'll be Arkansas versus Ole Miss. Alex Collins, 40 yards short of his third straight 1,000-yard season. Chris Doran, what do you got?
Ole Miss 34-26 here. Remember last year, the Rebs turned it over 6 times and got shut out 30-0 by Arkansas. They'll have the full attention of the Rebel team this year, and I really think it's an opportunity for Chad Kelly to take advantage of a defense that's given up 32 pass plays of 30 yards or more. One thing we know about this offense, they love to throw the ball down the field. They'll get that opportunity. They mix in a little run. That recommitment to the run has helped because Akeem Judd has stepped up as a nice compliment to Jalen Walton. I like Laramie Tunsil back in the mix. I think they win this one to get some revenge from last year.
I like all those stats you got there. We got a lot of numbers. Yeah, I love that. I'm going Ole Miss 31, Arkansas 24. And let's face it, guys. Chad Kelly, other than Dak Prescott, from a statistical standpoint, is leading this conference in passing yards, touchdowns. He's up there in QBR, and they can throw the football to a plethora of weapons. And what does that do against this Arkansas defense? It scares them because Arkansas has given up a ton of big plays. They can't cover the pass deep. I'm afraid it's going to be too much for that Arkansas defense. Now, Arkansas will run the football, but the pass defense is going to kill them in the end.
Well, Arkansas at Ole Miss. Laramie Tunsil's return has solidified that offensive line, and last week, Robert Kimdichie came back from a concussion like a madman against Auburn. I think that Ole Miss should be in good hands. They should be okay if Chad Kelly cannot turn the ball over, throw interceptions. My man, he's the Eminem of the SEC.
Chad Kelly, I rapped Chad Kelly the last time we were in Tuscaloosa, right? Here's how the SEC West looks right now. LSU is up front, but Ole Miss also controls its fate. They get the Tigers in a couple of weeks. Alabama needs the Rebels to fall back. You see A&M and Mississippi State sitting there with 2 losses apiece. Mississippi State plays Alabama next week.
Gray skies for the past 24 hours and a bit of rain over Vaught Hemingway Stadium, but high hopes if they keep winning could be a visit to Atlanta for the Rebs. Last year, Ole Miss was number 8 at Arkansas, and the Hogs defense forced the Rebs into 6 turnovers. Rohan Gaines had an interception, returned 100 yards for a touchdown. They won 30-0 did the Hogs. Coach Freeze with the birthday gal.
Well, Coach, how are you and this team using last year's shutout loss to Arkansas as motivation, particularly given your offensive background?
Yeah. I don't know that our team really thinks about it a lot. As a competitive coach from an offensive background, you know, it probably motivates me more. We don't talk much about, you know, last year's games anytime with this year's teams because everything's so different. But there's no question, you know, it was on my mind as soon as the Auburn game was over.
How are you helping your team keep perspective on where you all stand in the SEC West and the road ahead?
Well, we have a motto right now: is surrender the outcome and burn the ships. And don't worry about the results, don't worry about outcomes, just to worry about burning the ships on every single play. You never know which one may be the one that has the determining factor in an outcome. And in trying our best to enjoy the journey, we've had some tough lessons, and I think we've handled those about as well as you could. They're not fun. They weren't enjoyable, but we sure are enjoying being relevant right now.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Tough lesson was learned last year against Arkansas. Is there a chance this is a repeat of last year? In some way, is Arkansas tailor-made for success at this point of the season?
Well, one reason why last year was so difficult is you turned the ball over 6 times. You can't win when you turn the ball over 6 times. That will be a huge key in today. But also, let's just remember, Arkansas is a really good football team that is getting better, and I think they're playing the best they have in the last 2 years right now. And it's not just because Brandon Allen is sharp and Alex Collins, but this offensive line is getting so much better. That's why this football team is coming into their own.
I think when you get to the point in November, with the physical nature that they play, it starts to take a toll, especially up front, guys. Being a defensive lineman, when you get to this point of the season, there are dings. You may be a little bit slower getting off the line of scrimmage. And Arkansas is going to make you line down and play grimy football, play after play after play. They have a physical, imposing back who I think is a top 5 guy in this conference. And they're going to come into this stadium and they're going to try to beat Ole Miss up front at the line of scrimmage and control the clock by not letting that offense have the ball enough to beat them.
That's it. It's all about controlling the clock. Arkansas, a ball control offense. Ole Miss wanting to play with tempo. The last couple games, they're averaging 91.5 snaps a game. That's exactly who Ole Miss wants to be. Now, unfortunately, against Arkansas, the way that they can chew up the clock 6, 7, 8-minute drives, it makes it difficult for a rhythmic offense like Ole Miss to really get in sync. So it's going to be a very tough matchup for the
Greg,
Rebs
how many
today.
snaps today?
I think it could be in the range, probably around 75. I think
That
against a
changes
team
things.
like that, it's very different, and it's not going to factor in how tired this Arkansas team's going to be. At the fourth quarter, that's when Ole Miss really can beat you because you're exhausted, because the sheer amount of snaps you're getting.
And you would think the pressure is on Ole Miss and they're thinking revenge, but you heard Coach Freeze talk about it. Ole Miss better watch out today, because I've been on this campus for 2 days, and all I've heard about is LSU is coming in 2 weeks. Arkansas is here today.
Right now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody puts forth that narrative of they control their own destiny, they have the road right in front of them. That can be dangerous when you keep saying that.
It's very dangerous. You have to focus on today. But I think Coach Hugh Freeze is doing a great job of getting his team focused. Yeah, the rest of the country is talking about LSU, but I think inside the building, they're focused on tonight.
Yeah, look, Arkansas presents a challenge for every team they play here going forward. Ole Miss has them on the schedule today, and they have to be focused on the Razorbacks.
One thing also, the weather. If there's rain, heavy rain, that's obviously advantage Arkansas as well, because they're not going to throw it as much.
One thing I'd be interested too, Greg, to see if Hugh Freeze tries to implement some of that run game that he did against Texas A&M to give his offense a few more reps while they're out there on the football field.
Let's take a look at what's one of a kind here at Ole Miss. It is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. And, of course, it is the Grove. Old school. This is what it used to look like when you could actually park here. Now Matt's the only one that gets to park here.
What was
10
it like,
acres.
Paul?
Much better time.
So Paul was pulling up with his 55 Chevy.
Yeah.
Football team, of course, has been walking through the Grove on game day since 1983. And in 1998, the Walk of Champions, that arch was put forth there. It is just spectacular here. Kelly has a preview of one of the big matchups we could be seeing today.
Yeah, well, guys, when this game concludes, Ole Miss and Arkansas players will shake hands. Well, when two of the best tight ends in the country, and Ole Miss's Evan Ingram and Arkansas's Hunter Henry, shake hands, their moms want a picture. Competition between the two began when they were just in 5th grade, and it'll continue today.
Growing up, and in Georgia especially, there's so much competition even when you're younger. Going against a guy like that, I mean, he was super athletic, and it was always fun to go against him.
We were kind of always the biggest kids out there. He was probably a little bigger than me. We were always pretty much the first guys picked when we were in school. It was real competitive, played against him in football and basketball.
Hunter moved to Arkansas for high school, but he and Evan would continue to be some of the first guys picked as college recruits. Evan signed with Ole Miss and Hunter with Arkansas.
Two guys, two tight ends coming from the same area, playing against each other growing up, and now we get to go against each other now. It's really cool to just kind of look back and see, our success early on leading to success now.
Sprints out to his left, wants to throw, fires in the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown! Evan Ingram.
We keep up with each other a little bit on Twitter. Last year, they put a little beating on us, but after the game, we talked for a little bit. I've been keeping a look on his stats and his plays, his touchdowns and stuff.
Allen flips it to a wide-open Hunter Henry, and he walks into the end zone for the touchdown.
I kind of get some tips from him. He's pretty successful in his career at Arkansas, so any good stuff I see on film or anything, I might put it in my arsenal.
They're a great team, and Evan's a tremendous player, and so it's going to kind of elevate my game to another level to, want to be the best that I can be, especially going against one of the best in the country as Evan.
Hunter and Evan's moms cheering at the replays of those great plays by their sons. Evan's mom, Michelle, and Hunter's mom, Jenny, with me now, guys. Can you give me some perspective? I mean, sitting on the 5th grade football field, watching these two boys play, could you have ever imagined watching them play together on this stage?
I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, I couldn't imagine this. I mean, I always tell the kids to dream big, but this is huge.
Yeah, really big. Unbelievable.
And for these two boys, it wasn't just competition on the football field, but also on the basketball court.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they played each other all through middle school, and Hunter almost quit football in the spring before 9th grade. And we were going to move at that time to Little Rock, but he was going to, if he stayed in Georgia, he was going to continue playing basketball because it was a big basketball school. It's weird to think that he wouldn't be playing football right now.
He's an amazing basketball player as well.
But you better believe the folks at Arkansas are glad he's still
I'm glad.
playing.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody is. Now, it wasn't just competition between these two that you witnessed with these boys growing up. The competition started in your house with Evan's sister, Mackenzie, a standout basketball player at the University of Georgia. What was the dynamic like between those two?
Each other's motivators. Mackenzie was always recruited before Evan, so Evan had to step up. So it was really interesting how, and now he's just on the big screen, and it's so amazing.
Now, and in the Henry house, we should say, guys, keep a lookout for two younger Henry brothers in high school, and there's a little sister too. Thank you both so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I just love seeing the old pictures. I mean, to see them as boys and now out here as a man who going to be playing for a long time, by the way. Yeah.
I locked the vault pregame, the fans rocking. We're rocking. We're just getting hyped up, fired up to come out.
So everybody in the stands and the team, we lock them on, so we start rocking it. Everybody swaying left and right, so the whole stadium looks like it's rocking left and right.
It gives me chills. I'm out there at the coin toss, so I get to see the crowd rocking it back and forth.
It's an energy boost, just seeing all our friends and family out there ready to roll, ready to see us play. I feel it's one of the best atmospheres in college football.
We look bad. Let's go. On 3.
You eat.
Right, left.
Paulson's on. Paulson's on. Paul, you got to bring that left hand.
Greg dislocated his shoulder.
The sway. Great.
My shoulder is out.
Needs medical attention right now.
Somebody come get him. His shoulder is slipped.
Done son. They are rocking tonight here. Woo! Getting ready for Arkansas. Is there a freak we should know about here at Ole Miss?
First of all,
I mean, the recruiting class a few years ago was filled with freaks.
Guys.
You want me to do it?
No.
Okay. All right.
This isn't going to be a shocker.
Because I love this.
No. This isn't going to be a shocker. This isn't going to be a shocker, guys. We all know this, but we also know on this show, we try to speak the truth. And the truth here at Ole Miss is that Robert Nkemdiche is an absolute freak.
Set me free, Tim.
At 6'4", 300 pounds? This is ridiculous. He can run a 4.7. What? Are you kidding me? He can power clean 370 pounds. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Benches over 400. Dude, at 300 pounds, his body fat is under 15%.
How can that
Okay,
be?
what?
Yeah,
He's been on the Bowflex for years. It's ridiculous.
The Max Climber.
He is the only player in the country with over 20 tackles and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I like
21 tackles on the year, 5.5 tackles for loss. He's all over the field. But what I like most about Robert Nkemdiche is his motor. In big-time games, big-time situations, especially versus Alabama, you see him show up.
He's had his
And
best
he's also
year.
going to be in the next Star Wars.
He's had his best year by a long way.
But when it comes to everything concerning the SEC West, it matters what happens right here with Ole Miss and how they can get through the remainder of the schedule. Arkansas, LSU, and Mississippi State. Third toughest remaining schedule in the country. And you know, Marcus Spears stays up all Friday night calculating the football power index. People don't know that, but he sits there with an accounting calculator and he works up the numbers. And Spears says that they also have a 4% chance to lose out, a 13% chance to win out, but Spears puts it as a 4% chance to win out when he gets done crunching the FPI numbers. How likely is it in reality, beyond the numbers, that Ole Miss runs the table?
This is the same calculator used for the SAT.
No, that's the one Paul gave me when I first started working. It's 60-40 Ole Miss, and it's because they have the amount of talent and listen, this team lost games because the intensity level was low. And we watched them against Memphis. We watched them against Florida. And I thought Florida jumped on them early, and they didn't respond to that very well. And then in the Memphis game, they quite frankly thought that they would roll their heads out there on the football field and win the football. It transitioned these guys. And I think this team, as much as we talk about what Chad Kelly has done in this offense, this team hinges on the intensity that this defense plays with, and they've gotten back to doing that some. So obviously the road is tough, Joe, but when you look at the roster at Ole Miss, why couldn't they beat those 3 teams?
They're getting healthier. Tony Connor back today. Laramie Tunsil in the lineup a couple weeks ago. There's 2 reasons why this team has lost 2 games. I think it's turnovers 1, and the fact that they didn't have their best players on the field against both Florida and Memphis. Now, we look at this team today, they look a little scarier considering the individuals that are going to be suiting up for the Rebs.
I think the reason that they lost 2 games, because they lost their stinger. I think they have their stinger back. They bring their stinger when they play Alabama. They'll bring it today, and they're going to bring it against LSU. But they lost it because they lost their edge. They thought, hey, we can just show it. We beat Alabama. We're at the top of the mountain. Well, guess what? Everybody's gunning for you every week. You can never lose your stinger, not in this league.
And Joe, Tim and I both sat with Coach Freeze yesterday morning, and he said we lost our confidence. They have it back. The problem for Ole Miss, it's not today. I don't even think it's against LSU in 2 weeks. I think it's on the road at the end of the season in the Egg Bowl in Starkville. Mississippi State is waiting for these teams, these rebels right here.
Wouldn't that be something to have the story come full circle after last year?
You know, they're playing that big game down there in Tuscaloosa, but the team that controls their own fate in winning the SEC West, these fans right here. Ole Miss is in control, and they host Arkansas today. Arkansas, a team that, boy, they put it to Ole Miss last year. All the turnovers, 30 points on the board, came up with a win. That's a 3:30 game right here. Arkansas at Ole Miss, your pick.
Well, after a couple tough losses for Ole Miss, I think Hugh Freeze did a really good job of getting his team back on track, playing with an edge, playing with the stinger and momentum. I'm going with Ole Miss today.
You know what? As much as we talked about this Alabama-LSU game, this team right here can make today for both of those teams very irrelevant. So I'm going with Hotty Toddy today. I think they get it done. The defense has their stinger back.
I think Arkansas has no answer for Laquan Treadwell. He's going to have an enormous game, 150 yards plus. Laquan Treadwell takes this game over, and they get revenge over the Hawks.
You know, I really like Arkansas a lot.
You like Arkansas?
But I'm going to let this crowd tell me who's going to win. Are you ready?
Well, Hotty Toddy Ole Miss.
You are
Enjoy
my
your
enemy.
SEC Saturday. It begins right now with Kentucky and Georgia. Take it away, gentlemen.
Forfeit. Arkansas claims Ole Miss. Well, they actually met twice in the Sugar Bowl, including January 1, 1963. From Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, it's the Rebels and the Razorbacks. Nathan Noble's kickoff. It'll be Jared Cornelius in the end zone. He takes a knee. Straight ahead, this is Cody Walker, the junior from Jefferson City, Missouri, with a solid gain. Allen on 2nd and 9 to throw again. Complete to the outside. That's the other outstanding tight end.
Well, Sebastian Tretola just doing a nice job, but take a look at this. You look all across football, whether it's the NFL, what the average height and average weight is, Arkansas dominates across the board. They're the biggest offensive line in the game of football, Carter. Over 1,600 pounds with an average height of 6'7". They come to work, they mean business.
5 guys from 5 different states. There's a lot of personality, a lot of different personalities on that O-line. Play action for Allen here, and a deep shot. Nice grab. That's complete to the outside for Jared Cornelius with the Arkansas Razorbacks. They were co-champs of the Southwest Conference. 2nd down, Allen delivers. Touchdown, Arkansas. It's Drew Morgan.
Is in between the 2 defensive backs. Drew Morgan just going to be sitting here and run a skinny post on the inside and does it. Nobody goes with him. The football's right there, perfectly thrown, and Morgan showing you his ability to run after the catch for the easy touchdown.
Arkansas on the board first in Oxford. 7-all. Better than Ole Miss did last year in Fayetteville. We got a tie game. Brandon Allen on 2nd and 10. Feeling the pressure. Rolling. Throwing. Complete again. It's Reed who makes the grab as he gets to near midfield once again. Now 8 for 8, Brandon Allen.
Both quarterbacks are extending plays with their legs. I thought that Brandon Allen felt a little bit pressure there that he didn't need to bounce, but he buys time. He keeps his eyes downfield. And look at that football. Beautifully thrown, Carter, right in stride, right on the money for the big first down.
Amazingly, they haven't converted a 3rd down yet. Allen rolling left, comes back, completes. That's Jeremy Sprinkle, the junior tight end, who makes the grab. Arkansas, huge 4th down conversion. So Allen, play action to the air again. Brandon Allen, complete inside the 20. 2nd down. Allen rolling again, throwing, end zone, touchdown, Arkansas. Dominique Reed hauls it in.
Discipline. Here he is on the slot. The corner thinks that Brandon Allen's going to run, and he comes up. He's going to come up and try and fill in run support, leaving the receiver all alone.
It was 4th and inches. Was there any doubt Arkansas would go for it? And then a touchdown pass. 2nd of the day, Allen to Reed. Razorbacks lead in Oxford. Pistol look. Kelly, there's the play action. There's the deep shot, hit at the line, and incomplete. With some help from his friends to get downfield, Kelly into the end zone, even at 14 in Oxford. Henry Jackson, the fullback, in there. Play action. Allen's going to dump it complete to Hunter Henry. The junior from Little Rock goes rolling with some help to near midfield again. Arkansas family. His dad, Mark, played O-line for the Hogs. Collins straight ahead, shaking his way across the 40-yard line. Allen tosses to Collins on 3rd and 6, leaping his way near the 1st down. Collins has enough. Allen's 45-yarder spins in good all the way. So Laquan Treadwell as he steps out of bounds. So Gary Wunderlich evens the score. The Rebels in less than 2 minutes. Ole Miss on top in the 2nd half. Arkansas in no rush. Here's play action. Throw on first down, complete again. Morgan makes the grab. On 3rd and 3. Allen pumps over the middle to a dragging Morgan for the first down. Sheds the tackler. Morgan gets it to the 31. Play action again on 1st and 10. Allen to the end zone again. Touchdown, Arkansas. Jared Cornelius hauls it in. 30 yards for Allen's 3rd TD pass. And Arkansas responds again.
It's the weak side ISO. You're going to see the safety bite up on the play action, which completely clears out the room for Jared Cornelius. They're think and run there, but just a great stutter go. Fakes like he's going to run the corner, comes back on the post with another perfectly thrown football.
Treadwell has set it up, and then Kelly again into the end zone. Rebels lead it on the Razorbacks. Brandon Allen under center. Play action again on first down. Nice catch by the tight end Jeremy Sprinkle near another first down. There he is again, play action, 2nd and 6. There's the pressure from Kimdichie, downfield complete anyway. Morgan hauls it in. Allen delivers, rolling away from the pressure. Allen over the middle, complete, right at the sticks. Morgan hauls it in, and he appears to have just enough. To begin our doubleheader in the SEC West. LSU Alabama tonight. Trouble at the mesh point, but that doesn't matter. Collins in the open field, inside the 5. Elston finally brings him down. 1st and goal.
Man, you had so many defenders trying to get themselves upfield. They just run a trap and split the defense, and that's what that play is designed to do. You pull backside linemen. When you're a defense that's trying to get yourself upfield, which Ole Miss has been doing, that's a perfect play call.
Play of the drive. 1st and goal. Walker takes it in. Arkansas responds again. Arkansas back to the ground game in the end zone, even at 31.
A lot better across the board.
Judd pushed back on 3rd and short. Big implications for the SEC West title. Fun to be here for this one. Allen completes again. Play clock winding down. Just get it off. Pressure. Allen escapes. There's a flag down as Allen rushes for the first down inside the 25.
Holding number 3. Defense.
Morgan motions. There's the play action. Allen finds Morgan. Leaping, stretching, touchdown, Arkansas. Brandon Allen, 30th consecutive start. The hometown guy grew up a Razorback, and he is having one of his best days. 4 TDs for Allen. This one to Morgan. Lacron Treadwell wants it more than you do. Touchdown, Ole Miss, even at 38. Setting up the TD. Attaboyjo into the end zone. Rebels lead it, 4:55. Collins straight ahead, huge hole. Collins across midfield, tripped up inside the Ole Miss 50.
This is just a lead play, and what I've noticed is that Ole Miss is in cover 3. They have 3 high safeties. Usually you want to be able to run against cover 2 because it's a numbers advantage. Against cover 3, you have to keep taking what the defense gives you.
SEC West chances for Ole Miss. Collins again on the right side. Alex Collins muscling his way for another first down. Kalo Moore makes the stop. Time to throw, complete, inside the 20. It's Reed. Play fake. Allen to the end zone. Touchdown with 54 seconds remaining. It's Dominique Reed who holds it in. Including Ole Miss's chances.
Once again, just running a skinny post. It looks like there was some confusion there early on. It's one-on-one coverage. The corner's just saw if the safety moved over off the hash, and that's Brandon Allen's read. Once that happens, he puts the ball again in number 87's hands. What a night Reed has had, man. When they've needed big plays, he's been there every single time.
Empty again for Kelly on 2nd and 6. Chad Kelly is sacked.
Just take a timeout. Said the one thing that they couldn't do is be able to afford to take a sack. He almost jumps off sides. The snap's a little bit low, but just a good inside move. The right tackle there, Fawn Cooper, who is filling in for Laramie Tunsil, just opens up the inside. He stays square, but he oversets, opening up the entrance, and that's what allows for the sack.
Timeout left for the Rebels. Kelly, 4th and 6, pressured again, escapes. Complete, incomplete. Off the hands, DJ Dean disrupts it. Arkansas with 9 seconds.
DJ Dean has struggled tonight with tackles, giving up touchdowns, but he comes off of Attaboyjo there, or excuse me, off a Stringfellow, and just dislodges the ball. Get this in 9 seconds and call a timeout and line up for a field goal.
Allen, 6 seconds showing, downfield, it is caught by Reed near the 30. 3 seconds showing on the clock. Timeout granted. Trying for a game-winning kick for the first time in his football career. The 47-yarder from Headland is blocked. Loose football. We are headed to overtime.
What is your call?
Tails.
What?
Tails.
Tails. It's called tails. It is tails.
It'll be defense.
Defense.
Has 2 rushing touchdowns. Kelly is going to scramble again. Kelly into the end zone. Touchdown. The 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. Play action again. Allen downfield. Knocked away. Incomplete. Allen on 2nd and 15. Loose football. Allen falls on it at the 40. It's Marquise Haynes who strips it away and nearly ends it. Allen back on top to give Arkansas another chance.
Marquise Haynes, the leading sacker on this team, beats the right tackle. Dan Skipper around the horn, just beats him with speed.
Allen from the gun. Incomplete. It will be 4th and 25. One last chance for the Razorbacks. Hampton nearly picks it.
If you're Arkansas, you got to go back to what's been working for you tonight. Dominique Reed's had a huge night. He's a tall, lean wide receiver with big playability. We've seen him do his thing. He's 6'3". Throw the football up and let one of your taller receivers go high point that football. You got a couple tall tight ends to do the same, but it all starts up front with pass protection.
Last chance for Brandon Allen and the Razorbacks. 4th and 25. It's complete to Henry. Ole Miss knocks it away. Incomplete. No correction. It's on lateral. Arkansas keeps it going. Collins is going to take it inside the 15, and he has the first down on the lateral. Henry makes the catch, tosses it back. Collins is down. There's a couple Razorbacks down.
They're down, Carter, but I don't know if they're out. Hard to see who hits that football first there.
This is Morgan, now in motion.
And coverage down below, that side of the field's wide open.
On 2nd down, Allen to the end zone, touchdown, Arkansas. And the improbable touchdown in the bottom of the first overtime. Point conversion for the win for Arkansas. Play action. Allen pumps. Allen is dropped. Flag Hughes finishes it off. We check the flag to see if it's an Ole Miss win.
This could be a face mask, Carter.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. After reaching to the goal. Really try.
Wow. Arkansas is living right. We saw the lateral from Henry earlier. Then Ole Miss D's it up perfectly, but Marquise Haynes right there with his left hand.
Morgan, fake it. Allen takes it, dives, and he is in. The 2-point conversion. Arkansas wins it in overtime. Can do is smile, escaping Oxford with a shootout overtime win, 53-52 over Ole Miss. And now the attention turns to Brandon Allen down at the goal line. The player who has fought through injury after injury to be on the field for his Arkansas Razorbacks, laying it out on the 2-point conversion to win the game.
Just a beautifully designed quarterback run. He gets hit and lets go of the football as he crosses the plane. Look at the determination. Reaching as the ball hits the ground, it comes off. You wonder if his teammates jumping on him is where the injury occurred.
Allen's on his feet. The Razorbacks can celebrate. An all-timer. Arkansas over Ole Miss in overtime, 53-52. And the Ole Miss dreams of making a big statement towards an SEC West crown take a big blow in overtime. Jenny Dell is with Brandon Allen.
Brandon, first and foremost, a little slow getting up there. Want to make sure you're okay.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Took a little bit of a hit, but it's all good. I'm good now.
What gave you the confidence to go for that last drive?
You know, our offense really been clicking all game. You got to give them a lot of credit. Their offense is doing really well this whole game. And, we knew each other. If we scored here, we're going to try and end it, and we did so.
It was a back-and-forth battle each time. What do you think gave your team the competitive edge?
You know, this team, we have a lot of fight in us. We really do. Sounds cliche, but, these guys, we go into every game, and we're looking to win. No matter the opponent, no matter who's on the other sideline, we have the belief that we can beat any team.
This is the first time that Arkansas has a winning record in the SEC since 2011. What does a win like this mean to the program?
It's big. It's really big. We have this. We broke up our season in 2 6-game seasons. The second half of our season, 2-0 to start it, 3-0 now. So we're taking each game one at a time, and we're going to try to win the rest of them.
So for Aaron Taylor and Jenny Dell, I'm Carter Blackburn saying so long from Oxford, Mississippi, where the final score in overtime, Arkansas 53, Ole Miss 52.
Ole Miss controlling their own destiny to get there to the SEC championship and meet Florida. But it was overtime against Arkansas, down 7 after an Ole Miss touchdown. And Brandon Allen on 4th and 25. That's going to come up short. So the game's going to, wait a minute. Hunter Henry just flings it back. And Alex Collins scoops it, gets it, and converts on 4th and 25.
I don't know if you call it a great play, but you call it a very smart play. This is a smart football player realizing, look, the game's over if I get tackled. Just throw it up.
Just great awareness, situational awareness there by Henry. I mean, that was awesome. And then Collins, the right guy to get it into his hands there. 2nd and 8 now from the 9. Allen to Drew Morgan. Drew Morgan's had a good year. Razorbacks within 1. So they can tie up the game in overtime. But the big hog, Brett Bielema, says, no, we will win the game in overtime against Ole Miss. 2-point attempt, or maybe they won't win it. Marquise Haynes, the sack, but a flag is down. Face mask, Arkansas with new life here. One more chance.
And Brandon Allen would take advantage of that opportunity. Arkansas upsets Ole Miss on the road, 53-52. Big call to go for it there. So the most up-to-date SEC West standings, huge weekend for Alabama. Took care of business against LSU. But then also they get the help. Remember, it was Ole Miss who was controlling things because of the potential tiebreaker with Alabama. So the Tide controlled their destiny to the SEC title game, where the Florida Gators await whoever it is. Honda helmet stickers. How entertaining was the Arkansas overtime win there at Ole Miss?
Poor Ole Miss. I mean, 2 heartbreaking plays that could have ended the game.
But Brandon Allen, and great job by Brett Bielema saying, I'm going for the win here. Brandon Allen, 53-52, win in overtime, 442 yards, 6 touchdowns, school record in touchdowns. Brandon Allen gets my first helmet sticker.
Arkansas and Ole Miss in the thriller of the day. And, of course, the Rebels entered the day, guys, with the opportunity, knowing it could control its fate to Atlanta. Win out, and they would play for an SEC title for the very first time. Play action, Brandon Allen. He loves Drew Morgan. I mean, that is his guy. Touchdown.
That's what Arkansas's offense is all about right there. Run the football, get a little play action, opportunity to get some one-on-one coverage on the outside. Morgan takes advantage.
It was a record-setting day for Brandon Allen, who now rolls left and throws, gets a little. His receiver separates Dominique Green. Touchdown.
This is what they were setting up early in the season, getting the passing game going, and man, did BA have a day.
Man, did Chad Kelly have a day too, guys. What a performance, not just through the air, but on the ground for Chad Kelly, who ran for 110 yards and 3 scores. 17-17 now. Early third, Kelly ducks, runs. That's not Bo Wallace right there, folks, by any stretch of the imagination. Into Razorback territory, then Kelly throws. DeMaurier Stringfellow, transfer from Washington, breaks tackles. Others bypass trying to tackle. 24-17.
A lot of poor tackling by the Razorback defense right there.
All right, so that's your score now. Just minutes later, the third quarter, the gates open. Morgan again. Morgan down to about the 30. 1st and 10. Allen throws. He's got a man.
It was literally a slugfest, back and forth, punch, counter punch. Nice job by both of these offenses tonight.
Yeah, Jared Cornelius there now. Free play, Chad Kelly throws. Laquan Treadwell inside the 5. Next play, Kelly. Told you how good he was running the football, and there he is again.
Love the commitment that Ole Miss has made the last 3 weeks running the football. Today, they involve Chad Kelly in that.
Guys, a lot of talk about the injuries to Arkansas. Jonathan Williams, Raleigh Williams, Alex Collins just keeps on going. Gets past the 1,000-yard mark. First SEC player since former Hog Darren McFadden to do it 3 years. And then here he goes again. Collins. Oh,
how about the move? Look, try to say I never had that move back.
You didn't, I promise you.
Arkansas scored on the next play. Tied up early 4, 31 apiece. Allen mobility. Allen escaped.
Okay, B.A.
There you go, B.A. Almost down, really just outside the red zone there when he's down. And then Allen to Morgan. Second touchdown of the night for Morgan. By the way, the Oxford Police Department tweeted out a response to those wanting Allen out of the game. They can't do that. Arkansas up a touch. Ensuing Rebel possession. Kelly to Treadwell.
Treadwell keeps that streak alive. 100-yard receiving games with a touchdown. What's that, 5 in a row now?
5 in a row. 38 apiece. By the way, that's 6 100-yard receiving games this season. That breaks the school record. Then another weapon. Quincy Adeboyejo. Remember how much we heard from him early in the season. There he was for a touchdown there. So Ole Miss back on top. Last minute, Allen, touchdown.
B.A., what a throw.
How confident is he?
Threw a bunch of must-have balls right in the perfect spots and tight windows tonight.
3 seconds left, Arkansas for the win. But Tony Bridges gets the block as time expires. Just where the Razorbacks want to be, guys. Overtime.
A lot of people thought that was Laquan Treadwell with the block right there with the number 1. Hate the duplicate numbers.
And the reason the kicker has to kick it low is because it's a longer field goal.
Exactly.
Third play from overtime. Kelly Keeper, Kelly. Why not?
Momentum fully on the side of Ole Miss at this point in time. You thought the game was just about over.
Look, you saw Georgia Tech, Florida State. You saw Michigan State. This play is right there with it. Brandon Allen, 4th and 25. This is it. This is your game, and he throws it short to Hunter Henry. Now you just let it fly, but it ends up in the arms of Alex Collins. Are you kidding me?
Couldn't have bounced to a better player.
No. Collins, he's got the first, but it's a fumble now. Ball is, and the Razorbacks recover. What else could go their way?
And this is all about Hunter Henry, understanding if this ball doesn't get across the first down yardage, game is over, just throws it back. What's the worst thing that can happen? You can turn the football over or you get a first down.
Football IQ, bro.
Very high, very knowledgeable.
So here we go now. 2nd and 7 for the Hogs after the drive stays alive. Allen, another touchdown. That's number 6. That is a school record. And it's Drew Morgan again. Brett Bielema says, I don't want another 4 overtimes. I don't even want 2. I'm going to go for 2 for the win. And Allen,
what are you doing?
Stop! Except the flags fly because it is a face mask.
At this point, we're thinking, go ahead and kick the extra point. Right? Take it to the second overtime.
You got to break. You're going to the one. Just kick it, right? No, Bielema says, forget it. No chance. Allen, over, in. Hogs win. Brett Bielema and the Razorbacks, Bug.
How ironic is this? A Brett Bielema team on a day where BA threw the football outstanding, a quarterback run, 2-point conversion in overtime to win the football game.
Last year they beat Ole Miss 30-0. This year 53-52 in overtime. And Brandon Allen is fittingly enough carried off his finest hour, his finest game. 442 yards, second most in school history.
100-yard receivers all over the place for both teams today. Unbelievable offensive performance.
Second 50-point time in a 50-point SEC game this year for Arkansas. They hadn't previously scored 50 in a conference game since 2007. So many things happened, and Brandon Allen is your hero.
You know, our offense really been clicking all game. Got to give them a lot of credit. Their offense is doing really well this whole game. And, we knew each other. If we scored here, we're going to try and end it, and we did so.
Extremely difficult to look those young men in the eyes in there. It's a difficult way to end the game. And, I hurt for our kids, hurt for our coaches, hurt for our fans, our administration. You put so much into this deal, and you lose games that come down to the wire like we did tonight. It's just there's no way around it. It's very difficult, gut-wrenching, and we'll test everything about you.
You know, this team, we have a lot of fight in us. We really do. Sounds cliche, but these guys, we go into every game and we're looking to win. No matter the opponent, no matter who's on the other sideline, we have the belief that we can beat any team.
Wow. This was incredible. Second time in 3 weeks, Arkansas has played an overtime game at 17th in school history, tying Tennessee for the most among conference schools. Quarterbacks had huge days. Allen, we've talked about. Chad Kelly joins Archie Manning as the only players in Ole Miss history to throw for 300 yards and rush for 100 in a single game. It was also the third straight game the Razorbacks topped the 50-point mark, the first time they've done that since 1916. There are so many places to go here that I'm just going to let you all go wherever you want. Boog, fire it up here. What do we take away from this game?
I mean, just an outstanding performance from Brandon Allen. The ability for him to make the Arkansas offense multiple. We knew they could run the football, but what the offensive coordinator and Dan Enos did at the beginning of the year was give Brandon Allen confidence, and he showed that confidence tonight, making plays all over the football field.
What I take away is what could have been. This is an offense, as you said, they can run the football, but they're also able to throw it. Tonight, they spread it around to 8 different receivers, 200-yard receivers in this game tonight. 5 times in the red zone, 5 touchdowns. That's what they struggled with earlier in the season. They weren't able to finish drives with touchdowns. They've done that tonight. It makes it a very dangerous team. If they can shore up a few things on the defensive side of the ball, This is a tough team for anybody to beat.
And that loss by Ole Miss takes away their controlling their path, of course, to the SEC championship game. They would go for the first time, but now it's out of their hands. And that path obviously is now controlled by Alabama after the win against LSU. Up first is Booger. No,
this is me, Brandon Allen. 33 of 45, 442 yards, a school record 6 touchdowns. He didn't throw any picks today and maybe had the biggest play for the game-winning 2-point conversion that he ran in. Unbelievable afternoon for Brandon Allen. Led his team to a victory.
Booger, this couldn't have been easy for you, sir.
Yeah, but I'm going Derrick Henry. 38 carries, 210 yards, and he stepped up to the challenge. All we heard all week long was Leonard Fournette. Derrick Henry said, you know what, I'm a good back. Put me in the Heisman race also. And he helped Alabama have 39 minutes and 27 seconds of time of possession. Derrick Henry was a man tonight.
You know who I'm going with? I'm going with the big boy, Brett Bielema. Why? He goes for 2 in overtime. All the momentum was on their side. They could have just kept going. They get stuffed on the 2-point conversion, but they get another crack because of a face mask. We're saying just kick it. Just cut your losses. Take it. Go to double overtime. He says, you know what? We're going to go again.
I know what I'm doing.
And it ends up an Arkansas win. Brett Bielema, why not? Saturday standout.